Deputy John Gollop. One of how many Guernsey deputies?
There's 50 members of our states, 51 really. That includes the bailiff, the deputy bailiff, the Attorney General and the Solicitor General, although we call them generally the Comptroller and the Procurator. They're all non-voting members. The Dean is only a member of the States of Election. There's 2 members elected by the plebiscite, the population in Alderney, to represent Alderney people's views, and the remaining 45 are directly elected deputies representing 7 constituencies in Guernsey.
Of approximately how many votes per
Equal size districts, almost. Each district has between 7,000 and 10,000 people within it, and the smaller districts, such as St Peter Port South and the western country parishes, have between 7,000 and 8,000 people, and the bigger ones, the Vale, nearly 10,000, the Cattel, St Peter Port North, and St Sampson's and St Martin's and St Andrews, as the southeast, are 4 of the districts have 6 members and 3 have 7. Whether the right 3 have the 7 is a matter of debate.
And where are you elected from?
I'm actually, we don't have to live in the district that we serve, and I've lived in many different parts of St Peter Port for over 40 years. I represent St Peter Port North because it seemed to me there was a need for more of a championing activist at the election before last in that district. But previously I'd represented the whole of St Peter Port before the boundaries were changed, and St Peter Port South.
In theory, how many doors do you have to knock on in that district?
In theory, 2,000 to 3,000 in each district. Maybe more.
So that's what you have when you're electioneering.
Maybe
that's what you have to knock
4,000.
on, 2 to 3. Because they're talking in the Jersey elections that they have districts of 13,000. In theory, a candidate would have to vote on, knock on every door.
Although I've always finished in the top 3 in the district since 2000, I'm not a champion door knocker. There are some people who really go to town on meeting the electorate, but I tend to meet the electorate during the course of a 4-year term more than on the doorstep.
That's what it is now, 4-year term, is it?
In Guernsey it is. We were once 3 years when I started. I think that if you aim to meet every member of the electorate, you won't succeed with districts that large. But the argument then is, should we be electing people more on public record, policies, manifestos and overall views? I've always thought there's something limiting about voting for somebody because you like them at the door. It doesn't necessarily mean that they will represent your point of view in the States.
Alderney's representation, you referred to Alderney's representation and Sark's representation. How does that work? Just refresh again, Alderney.
Well, unless you count the Attorney General and the Solicitor General, Sark has no representation in the States of Guernsey. It is not part of Guernsey politically in any way. That said, certain judicial cases and certain legislation does apply to Sark. Alderney is not quite the 11th parish, and they wouldn't like to be thought of in that way, despite a former bailiff thinking along those lines at one point. But they are a separate, self-governing island. They are full members of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. They have their own company law, their own law of inheritance. But in terms of transferred services, they are in the same pot as Guernsey, and that applies to police, fire, the airport, education.
The Jersey parish system is very important. How important is the parish system in Guernsey?
Historically, the Guernsey parish system was equal to the Jersey parish system, I'm sure of that. After the Great War, the First World War, Guernsey history took a different course from Jersey's, I would say, because around 1919, the states of Guernsey made the decision to create a national island-wide police force. which took on board the parish constables' roles and the salaried police who were then stationed in St Sampson's, St Peter Port and St Martin's. As a consequence, the Guernsey parish constables lost their honorary police role in all but a few areas such as streams or committing people to mental health until recently. And the parish constables in Guernsey are more like Sark. We actually have 2 constables per parish, not 1, senior and a junior. They generally serve only 1 year, although they can serve 3 years or more, and some have served 7 or 8. And they are honorary and unsalaried. They were part of a douzaine system, which Sark also has and already had until the Second World War. The douzaine, as the name suggests, consists of 12 men and women, although the Vale is 16 and St Peter Port 20, just to be confusing. And the 12 were a decision-making body that put forward views on the rates to the ratepayers and advised politically. Until 2004, each Guernsey parish, regardless of size, selected from their own electoral college, from the douzaine, the 12, 1 member to sit full-time in the States of Guernsey. He or she, it was mostly he, was a douzaine representative who represented the parish. He or she had to have won election to the douzaine, but he didn't have to win election to sit in the chamber. He was effectively a delegate from an electoral college. That was viewed to be undemocratic, and when we decided to reduce the size of the states for a process of elimination, the douzaine representatives disappeared. This led to an intriguing reduction in the country parish representation, because until 2004 there were 10 from the 4 most rural parishes. After 2004 there were only 6, whereas St Peter Port remained at 13. That's an intriguing point from Jersey's point of view, where, in my opinion, the Jersey country parishes are significantly overrepresented in the chamber as a whole.
The demise of their states role, has that led to a diminution of their parish role? Have their status gone? Are they not so powerful?
We'd already lost our 3 attempts at island-wide elections. Between 1900 and 1918 we had island-wide deputies, 9 of them. Then from the Second World War until 1994, an electoral college of about 100 people chose 12 island-wide representatives called conseillers, similar to the Sark name today. And then for just 3 elections in 6 years, we elected 12 popularly elected conseillers, similar to your senators. Some of those members were actually parochial douzainiers as well. Since we lost the douzainiers in 2004 from the States Assembly, parish life has continued strongly. They've had a vigorous role in looking at waste recycling. They continue their roles with streams and parish lighting. They still advise states members through consultation on a monthly basis, and either directly with the public in surgeries or with states members, although there's some country parishes that don't do that, I gather. And it's still a good training ground for potential candidates for the states. They have been extremely active in the last year or 2 with elements such as the Queen's Jubilee, where each one of the parishes organised splendid fun days and fetes and activities and historical memorabilia. And they've still got a role, wearing another hat. I'm chairman of the Parochial Ecclesiastical Rates Review Committee. They still have an ongoing role in caring and conserving the parish churches as heritage for the island.
And the financial liability, so to do?
That as well. And currently a liability in some cases for the priest's home, but that is likely to change.
But that's only for the established church element.
That's right. Or at least be modified, and it will be left to each parish assembly to find their own path.
Is there a standard rate, or is it each parish fixes a rate?
Each parish fixes a rate, and of course the problem we found is that St Peter Port might occasionally have £1 million to spend on its church, but because it is a parish of 17,000 people and a significant amount of commercial real estate, money is relatively plentiful, whereas one or two of the smaller country parishes with populations less than 2,000 would struggle if they had a huge bill.
Do they
But there
provide
are-
schools, anything like that, without a parish rate? Is that
But they
also?
still have a role too in forming schools committees, but they may evolve over time into more governing bodies of schools. We'll have to wait and see. Where parish life has perhaps dimmed a bit is in parish elections. At one time, Douzaine elections were hotly contested, and now most years in 8 out of 10 parishes the candidates are elected unopposed, and we're also seeing cases of retired politicians returning to the Douzaines, and we are perhaps seeing a shortage of candidates in some areas,
What's the general
and the
feeling,
turnout
you guess?
could be low.
Is it
Less than
pessimistic about the
5%
parish
in some
system?
areas. I think the parish system will continue. I can see a time many years in the future when parish politicians will probably be paid. And I can also see a time when the smaller country parishes amalgamate their Douzaines into a central Douzaine. But I think that's many years in the future.
Talk about salaries. Obviously, states members are paid. What are members paid?
Well, we're paid generally less than States of Jersey members.
Same fee for each, same salary for each member, regardless.
No, there's a few variations according to age with pension requirements, but the basic here is 32 to 34,000, and ministers will perhaps get 10,000 more on that. Deputy chairman, deputy ministers a few thousand more, and the chief minister is notionally paid, although he may not take the salary, I believe 59,000.